Hindi. Welcome to episode 3 of Indie Wrestling is Dead. I'm Andrew Bowers, graphic designer, matchmaker, facilitator of North Wrestling. With me again is your MC, the nicest man in Northeast Wrestling, the North Faithful's very own Tom Campbell, and the man in gorilla position pressing play on videos. He's infamous for dressing up like famous wrestlers at North shows. You might know him as Chop now. I know him more formally as Chop. Tom calls him Chop. You can't stop the Chop. It's James Chop Haley.
The Chop.
That's a pretty good intro, that, isn't it?
Stop. The Chop.
Very good, I like that.
What a song that was from Off of the Past.
So how are you all doing?
Brilliant. I'd like to say that I'm unfortunately, you have been usurped as one of the more powerful men in Northeast Wrestling. That is a title that now goes to Declan Donnelly.
Mate, I know. No, I haven't watched the program. Okay. All I've seen is the dirt sheet saying that. So
basically, on Ant and Dec's DNA, it turns out that Declan Donnelly is a distant cousin to Dixie Carter.
I think that's amazing.
How do you find out this?
So there's a bit they did on the show where Dixie Carter meets them, and Dec's like, "Oh, so are you a wrestler then?" And she's like, "No,
I'm worth £5 billion."
So
I've nearly ran a wrestling company in the ground. However, we're cousins.
Somebody tweeted to say, I think it was my mate Tim Beaumont who tweeted to say, "Dec to buy North confirmed."
Oh mate,
so
come to me. DMs are open.
Let's talk.
Swear to God.
Talk about the business.
I swear to God, yeah. So yeah, I've been up to nothing. I've taken a hiatus from wrestling
since Declan Donnelly came onto the scene.
I've spent most of my efforts trying to get through to him. No, I've literally watched no wrestling.
Like me, because I've hurt me back from work and I'm sat on my back watching wrestling 24/7, including that lovely Crown Jewel period.
Oh, what a night that was!
Hey.
What a fun time.
How did you hurt your back though?
I was just lifting a box. I was just being stupid at work. I should have lifted something.
You should have been working at work, Chop? It's not what you're known for.
I thought it was last time with the uncut stuff where you were burying.
Burying
of the Northeast wrestling scene.
I wasn't burying.
You've been watching wrestling. We've been watching something else in our house, or someone else, as I should say. Since the last time we all sat in this room, you may notice there is now an executive producer.
There is.
Who's joining us by the name of Pablo, our British short-haired cat.
Yeah.
Who is now a part of the
I really want to be one of them
household.
jokes, but I'm not allowed to, am I?
No.
Stop it.
I told off the first time I did that.
Donald Trump, come on.
Good boy.
So
Actually, Pablo, he's got a link within the wrestling community as well. I don't know if
he
you want to break.
He is the loose cousin of Declan Donnelly.
He's got a Facebook owner of a £5 billion empire.
Oh no, he was. I don't know whether it lifts the curtain back too far. We don't care. So Pablo was staying with Rory Coyle for a brief time, rooming with Rory Coyle, which I can imagine is probably why he has that 1,000-yard stare every so often.
He definitely does.
Lust and thirst for human flesh. But yeah, so one thing led to another that Pablo needed a new home. So Pablo came over to live with me and the good lady. And Pablo is currently, he is honestly...
eyeing my leg up.
Yeah, he's eyeing your leg up as a potential scratching post. So
pissing post, probably, I would have thought. No, yeah, so I think Pablo is the first feline of Northeast Wrestling.
Yeah, until you book the cat Ernest Miller. In which case he gets usurped.
So is he a ring cat?
Oh, we can find out. Bring him to North. I'll bring him out on North. Put him in the ring. I'm sure it won't freak him out.
I'm going to move on before Chop starts telling pussy jokes. So we're going to kick off straight away with an announcement of sorts. For our next show on Sunday, 8th of December, NCL.22, I Don't Need Your Medicine, there's an extended VIP pre-show.
But we will start with the bad news. A Question of North is resting for the year.
I think so, yeah.
So A Question of North has been, for 2 years, the standard bearer in pre-show game shows for professional wrestling events in the northeast of England. I think I've only seen one other wrestling company attempt it since us, which I'm very flattered
have
about.
they?
Yeah, well, I saw one. Maybe two. It's a great concept, have it? We're just stealing another concept anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next year, but for the next show, for the last show of the year, there'll be no question of North. But we're doing something bigger and better. Huge. Scalps!
In the past, we've done this a couple of times. But this year, we're going to make it a yearly tradition. We are going to be presenting to you. It'll be a live podcast of sorts. I think we'll be recording it and releasing it into the airwaves. But it's a 2009, and I've dubbed it the Northies.
Ooh.
An award ceremony of sorts.
You said 2009 there.
2018.
I'm excited for the 2009 Northies.
Who the hell was wrestling in the Northeast?
Carlito winning Breakout Superstar of the Year.
Christian. He was wrestling.
That ECW
Epic
brand.
Cole gets like the young wrestler of the year, something stupid like that.
I'm very tired. I've been up since 6 a.m.
William Regal win the ECW title this year or not?
So the 2019 Northies, it'll be part live Indie Wrestling is Dead podcast. It's part award show. It's in the spirit of Akon. I call it Akon.
Akon?
That's how I call it.
As if the guy who sang Lonely.
Yeah. I call it Akon. A Question of North.
Acorn.
And A Question of North might still have its part to play, but it'll be likely we'll probably talk to Jordan if he can make it from Liverpool. We'll definitely be looking over 2019 as the year that A Question of North broke through that glass ceiling.
Became an international belt. Big thank you to everybody.
There's another podcast actually, that the Pop and the Boys podcast, who dispute it being a world title. They say it's only been ever defended in Australia, so it's a Commonwealth title.
What I would say is, don't take it too serious, Lance.
No, keep taking it seriously. I like it.
Chill, lads. It's been across international waters.
Yeah, it has. I mean, yeah, and to
get Australia, you've got to go through Dubai, and
exactly.
So technically,
it might have been in New Zealand as well, wasn't it? Was it not in New Zealand?
It was in New Zealand as well.
I think he lost it in Australia, won it back in New Zealand.
Well, there you go. Surely that's more than a Commonwealth.
2 countries, I'd say it's certainly more of a world title than our own North Championship.
Exactly.
So this is how silly it's become. Anyway, so yeah. It'll definitely be all happy fun times. And if all you need to do to get in and be part of our party is purchase a VIP ticket, £17. Ooh, £17.50, chop.
You're kidding, that is so cheap. You must have said that wrong. For all that and the whole night of wrestling, do you know what? How are you not bankrupt?
I mean, it's close.
I want to see like an Andrew Bowers advert for North, a bit like those dodgy car dealers adverts. Hey, I'm going out of business. You're taking money out of my pocket. This car for $39.99. My wife thinks I'm crazy. She's already left.
She does. It's not too far.
Honest to God, you are literally stealing a living from Andrew Bowers for this price.
Very much so. Very much so. So yeah, I think I haven't quite ironed out all the details on it. We might be starting a little bit earlier just to fit everything in. So we might try and open the doors at 2:30, and maybe doing it for an hour and a half or an hour, getting a good hour out of it. We might just still open at 3 and then just kind of bleed into the 4 o'clock-ish.
But we can't wait to do this because this has been like a
little
brainchild, hasn't it?
We got some plans. So I'm just going to go back through some of the past award winners. We've done this, but definitely less formally, and it was only existed online. So before NCL 10, which was like we did a 10th birthday, 10th show kind of celebrations. We had a few. We kind of had a vote, but it overlapped into 2018. So the 2018 award winners kind of usurped it. But we'll go through the pre-NCL 10 birthday bash award thing. Best wrestler was voted as Amir Jordan.
Deservedly so. I think, if nothing else, off that massive match that he had.
Which it was. NCL 9 was Amir Jordan versus Nathan Cruz, which got voted best match.
He only won one match, though, didn't he?
And that was that one. It was that one.
So we're not going off wins-losses records for his best wrestler of the year. It's just who they see as the best wrestler of the year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. It was voted by the fans,
of course.
And what we'll be doing we'll be using the 2018 categories, and we'll be asking everybody to put their nominations forward, and then we'll be doing a vote on it. And I think the votes will probably start next week sometime. Which is what's the date today?
11th. It is the 11th. It's the 11th.
So in a week's time from now. We'll probably be putting it out to the public to vote. Best tag team were voted Sons of Ulade.
Oh, them lads.
What did they do after that,
I think Bass Band went to run a fishing tackle shop.
Strange though, because at NCL 10, which this was voted before, is when Rory Coyle won the first belt.
It is.
Or won his belt the first time.
And it was as a result of you laid shenanigans, if I remember.
It was. Best young'un of North was voted as Big Lou Nixon.
Who nowadays lives his life as a crash test dummy.
Falling off. I'll go for a smoke on a roof.
Send love to Lou, who broke his leg and then a week later broke his arm.
Yeah, I think he ripped his arm apart on something. Not wrestling related.
No, all his wrestling matches are safe as houses. It's just existing outside of wrestling. Lou keeps hurting himself. Get well soon, Lou. We love you, mate.
2018 award winners. So these are the big ones. This is when we first started to go, you know what, we're going to do an end of year awards thing, because actually we're doing shows and we're continuing to do shows. Moment of the year, of course, voted by the fans, John Fall.
Had to be.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. Show of the year was voted as NCL.21 Nobody Pray For Me. That was when Rory Coyle and Liam Slater main evented.
Yeah, that was a strong night out.
That got voted as match of the year. It actually usurped Amir Jordan and Nathan Cruz. They were second with a vote.
Wow.
So that's how people thought of that match. Debut of the year was Chris Wolf, who's since retired.
Yeah, but what a great time to have Chris Wolf pop and see
Still
us in North.
one of my favourite bookings of all time.
She was so good.
She was so good. Breakout star of the year, TK Cooper. Breakout. He was well experienced at that point.
I would have said so, yeah.
I think in terms of like in our
our
universe,
world,
in the North stratosphere, he was a breakout star. Now he's the daddy of North.
Now he is the daddy of North. Tag team of the year, Landed Gentry.
Fuck off.
Landed Gentry. If you didn't hear me through gritted teeth, it was Landed Gentry.
I'm not a fan of how they keep winning these things.
No, well, they didn't really win that plate though, did they? That was very much a self-appointed plate.
Yeah. I like a good self-appointed plate.
And wrestler of the year was Rory Coyle, champion at the time in 2018, without a shadow of a doubt. So we'll be having all of those categories again, and they'll be up to vote on the Facebook fan page. We'll be asking for feedback and nominations on our Discord channel and on Twitter. If you have a suggestion, your name will be put into a hat, and you might even be able to present one of those awards at the 2019 Northies.
If you want, that's quite exciting. You could be walking out on the main stage and doing the whole award thing. You have to bring your own tux.
And award, please.
Or dress if you're... buy an award. Pop to Timpson's, buy an award. Or a dress if you're so inclined as well.
So So there'll be more information on that across all of our social channels. Anyway, at this point, quick mention for our sponsor and ally on the front line of BritWrest, Grapple Clothing. They're dropping their biggest release yet at the end of November, which includes a North Grapple collaboration shirt in yellow. It's fucking lovely. There'll be loads of lovely items to keep you warm this winter. Guys, guess what? Your Christmas presents are going to be...
Is that what we're getting instead of a bonus this year?
That's what you're getting instead of paid at the next show.
You're stealing money! Get these tickets now!
You'll spot Grapple Clothing at the North merch stand and generally plastered all over our own social media outlets purely because we love them so much. We love working with those guys. We're really proud that Connor is based in Newcastle, and now he's going on all the shows in Newcastle, but he's been down at Riptide, he's been everywhere, he's got loads of people wearing his stuff. Keep your eyes on grappleclothing.co.uk now.
And they feel so good.
So good. I have a question before we get to the Q&A part. What made you, Andrew Bowers, decide yellow was the primary colour for North Wrestling?
In classic branding style, I looked at what was out there at the minute, and I do branding as a shoot job. I'm a graphic designer, branding, websites and stuff like that is my shoot job. I didn't like what is out there already. I hate to say it.
No, I know you're entitled to your own
professional eye. So I thought, fuck it, what stands out most? Black and yellow, innit? I mean, it's quite NXT as well, but I was probably around about the same time. And I just thought, I think it'll stand out. I kind of wish I hadn't called it North because it means we can't really do any shows outside of North now.
Of course you can. All the more reason to do shows down south. But you North go south.
That's true.
It makes it a big deal.
That's true. Somebody asked us if we were going to do a Riptide versus show. And I've sent them so many messages asking about that. And then Josh got back to me one time and said, well, how does a versus show work? And I went, I don't know.
Your guys versus our guys.
We kind of have the same guys.
Oh, do we?
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah. So anyway,
Where would you do the show? In the Midlands?
but yeah,
In
that was on our
theory.
Discord channel. Someone was saying that. I was like, I think it was Jamie from the Society,
Yeah.
who had literally plotted out equidistant. I can't remember. I'm gonna find
It's going to be
out
Derby, innit? I'm pretty
Something
sure
like
it's
that.
going to be Derby.
Cambridgeshire, maybe like
Yeah.
Derby.
So
Where...
let's go somewhere where none of the core audience is, and make them all travel.
Well, let's
This is money.
Let's do it on a boat. Let's get a boat
Yeah.
from the North Shields ferry.
Chris Jericho is your guy for wrestling on a boat. He'll know.
Exactly.
He'll know how to do it. Boats and hose. He'll know how to do it.
Pause.
Boats and hose.
Post-show review, NCL.21, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps Part 2. How do you all feel it went? Don't all jump at once. That good, eh?
No, I thought, okay, right. It was an excellent show. Top to bottom, it was an excellent show.
We talked about in the preview show about how difficult that one was to put together because there was about 9,000 other shows going on.
Yeah.
I was really happy that we actually got close to 200 people through the door, which is a pretty darn tootin' for what
For
we...
a Sunday as well.
For a Sunday show,
Yeah.
yeah. I was really, really happy with the crowd. It wasn't quite as busy as it normally is, but yeah.
It's a lively bunch.
Really
and that's what it's
lively.
all about, isn't it?
Really
Some
lively
really strong debutants
Yeah,
at that show as well, which I thought really helped it as well.
I think so. So we started off with a question of...
Certainly did. That was a fun time, wasn't it? I enjoyed that one this time
Who
around.
did we have in that one? It was Jordan and Lost Boys versus...
It was versus Ian Bentley and Gia Adams.
Ian Bentley did the best impression of the Boogeyman
Yeah.
Yes, he
I've
did.
ever bloody seen.
He was phenomenal. It's like he was the boogeyman.
And I liked how Jordan turned up like to the second.
Like, we've
Yeah.
had accusations that we planned that.
Really? Okay, should we put those to bed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we very rarely let behind the curtain on this. But I think for this occasion, it's fun to go behind a little bit. So, okay, so I got in the ring dressed as Trend 7.
Is that who you were?
as a strippogram.
It was just
And,
Tom Campbell on a Friday night. I thought...
Gorgeous legs.
Thank you, mate.
Gorgeous.
I'm proud of Calfzilla. We knew that Jordan was running late due
Yeah.
to incredible amounts of delays with train services. So Jordan had let us know he was running late. So we had sort of a contingency plan in place where, like, we'll start the quiz, and when you get here, just jump in the ring. It's
Yeah.
fine. We'll clear the way.
But
just
before
jump
that,
in.
we didn't know if he was going to make it, so we were going to have someone from the crowd come in and do a number one contenders. If
Yeah, so we had
he didn't make it.
We had a couple of plans in
Yeah.
place. We thought, look, you know what? In the spirit of some of the great live wrestling shows, we'll just go out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll wing it. What's the worst that'll happen? Nobody will die. So I get in the ring thinking that we're just going to wing this, and then Jordan might turn up. You come over to me as I'm standing in the ring, and you say, "Jordan's just arrived. By the way, those shorts are offensive."
From this angle, though, you always forget that.
I know, but you said,
did he like put him on the middle rope? Just hang and sit on the middle rope.
Tom, your lovely legs that you've got.
"Thank you, mate."
Very tight shorts that you're wearing.
Yeah.
You were... The best part of you was at eye level. I've never seen you at that angle before.
Sexy devil. No, I know, but yeah. So you said to me, Jordan's arrived. So
Yeah.
Jordan. So it's okay. So you want the kayfabe part of it? Jordan arrived as the quiz was beginning.
Literally, as his... I think... As,
For a shoot. That wasn't like
Yeah.
he had
as
become
Lost
10
Boys
minutes
went
before.
out, I think,
Yeah.
as they went out,
Right.
Yeah.
I got a message on Facebook from Henry, who was working on the door, saying, "Jordan's here." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was standing with you,
Yeah.
dressed as Chop Wyatt.
Chop
That wasn't me.
Oh, Chop Fiend.
That was a fiend. That
Chop
wasn't me.
Fiend turned
Shit.
up. Chop Fiend turned up. And yeah, and then so you told me. So I said to you, just tell him to wait. He'll know when to come out.
Oh, and by the way, he was dressed in Pikachu outfit.
He was dressed as a Pikachu onesie. So really, like, he arrived probably 3 minutes before we called him out.
Literally.
So there was okay. So to let you behind the curtain, there was a tiny bit of that, but it's a show, for the love of God.
Come on, we made the most
Sometimes
of it.
let the magic happen.
We made the most
yeah,
of it.
we just said, let's just, like, you think on your feet. Let's have a little moment where we just
Yeah.
we milk this, and we did.
We did, huh?
We did.
It was good times. It was good
And
times.
I had fun doing that chop feed, if
do
I'm
you
honest.
know what I love?
Chop-
I love that.
Chop Wyatt and Chop Fiend.
well, we did have a muck-up because the video that was meant to play before, which I'm so fucking glad
when we sat here last time,
I'm going to show everyone.
We said we've got to film a little bit, and you in your red jumper as Chop Wire to set up the fun.
Someone's going to pull that video with all the outtakes.
Have you got all the outtakes?
Hell yeah!
God!
But so we took ages to film it.
We took ages. It was one take. We finished and done.
It was more than. So we took so long to do it, and then I learned how to video edit from the guys at Cultaholic. God love them for being patient with me, showing me how to build stuff in Premiere.
You showed everyone at Cultaholic?
Yeah, everyone's seen it, mate.
All the tapes.
Nice. Yeah, they all know it.
You managed to actually, though, I will say, I don't know how you did that. You managed to chop it in, not pun intended, where you took two parts. Am I right? You took two different takes because none of the takes that you did were good.
No, that was all the same take.
Oh, okay.
That was all the same take. But yeah, so put this together on the night. Video didn't even play.
Fucking play, no.
The bit that took the longest didn't even play.
This is why I say it, but because the show was thrown together, like with everyone coming in at the last minute and all that, we didn't have a chance to do it. But we didn't want to give the surprise away to everyone who was setting up. We also wanted to.
You don't get run-throughs in live wrestling, man. You don't.
I wish you did. Everyone who was in the. Everybody.
We wanted to pop the boys.
Everything that we try and do, though, that's what we always try and keep.
But we did make up
secret.
For the entrance, I think.
Oh no! Oh god, no! It was a tiny glitch on a fun old time.
You could hear it, and you could work out what was happening.
The Chop Fiend entrance was phenomenal.
I might put together a video with maybe some bloopers,
definitely,
but with the actual video and then your entrance. I think.
But I just remember being
backstage. Your way. You've got loads of time. You can do it.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll make it so you don't see fucking outtakes. But I was backstage and I said to Bowers, I was like, "This is going to be too serious, this entrance," because beforehand. I didn't know what we were going to do. We usually wing it, though, when we're getting to wing.
Yeah.
And before I went, I said, I need to do something funny here because it's far too serious. So do the entrance, go all the way around the ring, take everything really serious. Everyone's like, "Wow, fucking hell, Chop's got guns." Get in the ring, and I thought, right, loosen this wig up a little bit, and then bang, go back.
So you planned that?
Yeah.
Oh,
what a load of bullshit!
I'm telling you that now.
Give me a break.
Believe what you want. I know what the truth is.
I thought it was
what was the line that you said when he came out, though?
It was a line that Alex, my good lady, came up with, which is, "Have you got 20p for the meter?" And then we'll give you 20p, and then you went out the back. That was it. That was the whole bit. Chuff with that.
And that's the whole point of the question of North. It's just stupid shit like that.
Yeah. If you take it all too seriously, popping the boys. Sometimes
no, they don't.
Sometimes I know, I'm only kidding. But sometimes people have come up to me afterwards and said, "You do realise that question was wrong." I had a mess, Stevie Aaron. I love you, mate, but I had a litany of things from you saying this was wrong and this was wrong and this was wrong. Right, if you're paying attention to the accuracy of the questions, you're missing the entire point of the quiz. If you're here for structural accuracy, there's somewhere else you can go.
It's not really a quiz, let's be honest.
I think I genuinely upset some people sometimes when they come up and go, "Actually, I think you'll find this question was wrong." And I just go, "Do you enjoy it?" "Yeah, it was fun." "Well, there we go then. Off we go."
When that happens, you usually say, "Oh, it's Bowers made the question, it's not me, it's nothing to do with me."
Oh no, I always take it on the chin and go,
"I'll take it."
Yeah. Well, I always own it. Just go, "Yeah, it was wrong." Oh well. What a pity, never mind.
Here's my first nomination for a 2019 Northie Breakthrough Star. A question of North.
Ooh, a concept among a wrestler.
I think it's really taken off this year. I'm really happy with the way that it's gone.
I'm sure the OJMO will be fine losing out to the concept of a quiz.
Boy, we're going to get some heat through the boys, aren't we?
Oh, mate.
I mean,
if this podcast isn't enough, like after 3 shows, we're going to do a live fucking podcast show. The boys are going to fucking hate us.
Who the fuck do we think we are?
I know, right?
Anyway, first match came in. This one was, I actually think, was an accidental wonder opening match. So this was first because of logistics. Both guys were wrestling in different matches down in Leeds later on in the night for title. HT Drake versus Will Cruz. What do you reckon?
Great match.
I love Will Cruz.
Really, yeah. Will Cruz is a future North champion. I think we said this last week.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of upside with him. I think the finish was slightly confuddling.
So the finish was, I think, from what I remember, and I don't get to see a lot of stuff, and I haven't actually watched the whole show back, so forgive me on this. I'll talk about it from a booking point of view. The finish was Drake had brought the chair in the ring and was getting ready to do coast to coast.
Yeah.
Will, and this is what I sort of Rich afterwards, and this is what. Oh, was it Rich who was refereeing it? I
No,
it
it was Scott.
Yeah,
It's Scott's match.
Scott.
Rich was on the speaker with him.
Yeah.
For most of that.
So I spoke to him afterwards because I saw kind of the back end of the finish of it and kind of went, "Oh, what the hell's going on there?" Will Cruz used the chair, threw it at Drake, and got DQ'd in that maneuver. Which I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I wasn't sure at first, but then once I started twigging, and once eventually music played, I was, oh, it's a DQ straight away. So I knew that. From what I gathered through the fans, they got it straight away.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But then that's because they're front line. Maybe sometimes when we're sitting at the back, we don't see it straight away.
I wasn't sure on what
you know what I mean
when I saw it, and so I had to go and clarify it. But yeah, classic Drake. Classic.
Yeah,
Drake. It's quite clever
cheeky
when you think
boy
about
Drake.
it. When you think about it,
It
he's
is
actually
quite
brought the
clever.
chair in to then get disqualified. To get Will Cruz disqualified by using it. It's quite clever.
I don't know what you think about Drake at the minute. He's
I'm not saying anything because he sort of had a go at me at the show for shitting on him. Remember? Do you remember this?
no.
Why are you shitting on him?
We weren't shitting on him, but he was
weird,
like he was correcting all the things we were saying, and I feel like I'm not going to say nothing against him now.
But that's typical of
I
him,
love your
isn't it?
rings.
That's typical of him, though, isn't it? That's where he is at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, not enough. Yeah, it's. I still think he's one of the best in the
Absolutely.
Northeast. I just feel like he's
Shithead.
he's lost his way somewhat.
But he's picking up dubs.
Yep, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
You can't argue. There's a
Mr.
question coming later on, and we'll go into that. But this will be part of it. Why he's going to be there? He's got the dubs.
He's also the Undertaker of North. After this show, he'll be 22-0. He's been on he's wrestled on every North show. Wrestled on every North show. 22 shows. The only person to do it.
I think it's the Undertaker of North. Like he's now only going to turn up once a year and eat at Nando's. Undertaker loves a Nando's.
I think we got a really good reaction from that first show, HT Drake and Will Cruz. I think I'd like to see them actually go at it properly again.
It was a great way to start. It was via circumstance that was how it started, but it was a very unique way to start the show, I thought.
It was, yeah. And sometimes that's quite nice. I think seeing those guys literally get in a car together and then off they go to Leeds, that's the reality of wrestling sometimes. And I think...
I kind of think if the world had been slightly different, it would have been nice for them to have had this match at North, like DQ, or like have the match at North, fight out of the ring, fight out of the venue, and then the next thing you see is them turning up at the Temple of Boom in Leeds, still fighting. Like it's a fight that has crossed the promotional timeline,
just through the universe.
Yeah,
like ripped through time.
Yeah, they jumped through that rip in the space-time continuum that WrestleVerse opened and just hoyed themselves through there.
Well, I'd like to see them again, and so there's a couple of things that we're going to kind of touch on later on. There's a couple of questions we've had from you, the North Faithful, around divisional rankings, and I think around NCL.24, which is kind of slated in to be Let the Cannons Fly 3, which has our famed scramble match for the belt. None of that's confirmed yet, but it does start to get us thinking, going into 2020, where do these kind of people sit? And I think, where do you think HT Drake and Will Cruz sit in terms of the North Championship?
I've got to throw another name in there, but we'll talk that later when we get to that.
I mean, in regards to these two guys,
they've got to be in top 5 regardless. But there's other names that I want to throw later on.
we'll come back to them, but keep that in mind. I think we've got to keep them two in mind. I think. So the next match of the night, actually, well, I'm going to change it from our running order here. The next match of the night was Deadly Sins versus Lost Boys versus Rock and Coal Express.
I love the Deadly Sins.
I think that was the vibe that everyone got.
Two great tag team debuts for two very different reasons.
Yeah.
For Deadly Sins, they've been making like massive waves over in the Commonwealth, and it was great to see them as part of North. For Rock and Coal Express, I followed Scotty Rock and Coal Quinzel for ages. Like part of NGW, they wrestled a few times for 3 Count Wrestling. So for them, I know that they were keen to work at North, and it's been a bit of a bucket list thing for them as a tag team
to
come and do Rock to do North. So I was so happy that I walked into the building and saw them in the ring.
They made a really, really good impression. I remember speaking to everyone before they kind of went out, and before the show, kind of doing a meeting and kind of like talking to I talked to everybody beforehand and try and give them a bit of like of a motivation or a bit of a geo. Didn't need to give it a Rock and Coal at all. All I said to them was go out and just be you guys, be energetic. And I think they really did that. They got the crowd up. They do that lovely, like, simultaneous moonsault from the top to the outside. Looked fucking brilliant, like. And
they're in sync, and I love them for that.
And the Lost Boys are just Lost Boys. They're great, them too.
Yeah.
Is it? Did they start teaming at North? Is it something that was born at North? Because I'm seeing Lost Boys appearing in a lot of places now. I feel like it's something that was born.
So I think they've now become like a three kind of stable with Joe Nelson as well.
Oh, wonderful.
So I think he's definitely somebody who's been on the list. I've tried to get Joe Nelson before, and it just never really worked out. As with a lot of wrestlers, it's just, time and place, and some things work, some things don't. He's really, really fucking good, Joe.
I'm right thinking that Joe Nelson had himself a cracker against David Starr at Shardengrabs t'other night.
So I heard.
He's very much a breakout guy for next year.
I think it was the only serious match on that card.
Yeah, they do like one serious match, and Joe Nelson got the serious match for the night. Well done, Joe.
It was a nice spot in that where they were all trying to shake hands, and the Deadly Sins kept coming and saying, "No, you can't shake hands." And then eventually it was great payoff for that. But I thought the Deadly Sins came in and just looked like a fucking awesome tag team. Like.
They're huge as well. They're big lads as well. Sometimes you get guys that come in and you're like, oh, you're kind of my height or smaller. Those guys came in and I was like, fuck, you look like wrestlers. Like, shit, you're going to be really good. I think my favourite spot was Kane Khan crawling along the floor, the front row of everybody, untying their shoelaces. It was like quality heel work.
It was a beautiful moment. It really was.
Third match of the night was somebody that we've honestly been trying to get in, and it just hasn't quite worked for one thing or other. Laura Di Matteo. We've been trying to get her in since NCL 5.
Oh wow! Okay.
NCL 5.
Absolute God. What's your problem?
I know. Yeah. It was one of those things where it just, where it just doesn't work out, or like you got somebody else coming up, so it's not for that show, and then you go, oh, what about this show? No. Blah blah blah. So she was up against Spooky Susan herself, as her real title is, on our Halloween
show. Why didn't she
show.
do a Spooky Susan sort of gimmick that night? That would have been perfect for Halloween.
Well, she'll get called Spooky Susan on Commentary.
She should have come out as like, the lass from The Ring. TV. Come on, next year, Gia. Come on.
Yes. Look, don't be surprised if you hear the line on commentary. It is Halloween in the Northeast, and our very own Spooky Susan is in the Riverside. If you hear that on commentary, it was just off the top of my head as I said it.
So Laura Di Matteo had been in the Northeast a lot, as we know. Never been with us. I was really impressed. I think we had a real. This was Gia's first proper.
Well, we said before that this match was going to be Gia's big test for a single sort of. Bringing someone who can match her sort of skill level. Yeah. And when she did, it was really, really.
So her last singles match was against Connor, and she put up a really good fight, but that's a very different proposition. So this one, I was quite happy to put together because it made it. I think she really had to not just think about it, but Laura Di Matteo is hard hitting, technical. She's smaller than Gia, but you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of her. And I think, I think this was a really good match.
I think Laura Di Matteo, from a few years ago, I remember, she was very much the sort of shoot style, I'm going to kick your head in type, long before like your Shayna Baszler's came along. She was doing that game long before Baszler turned.
I still remember seeing Laura Di Matteo when she was Ginny's assistant.
Oh, wow.
In Progress. That was my first Progress show back in March 2016, maybe. And I think she finally turned on Ginny.
I kind of feel like Laura Di Matteo and Killer Kelly would just have one of those matches which would just be no frills, just two people knocking shite out of each other. And I think it'd be an amazing watch.
I think so. So Gia Adams, I'm going to say, looking back at our 2019 Northies, breakout star?
Without a doubt. I haven't talked much about Gia Adams this week, so I'm very aware that I gush about Gia Adams pretty much every time we sit down. But without a doubt, a breakout star of the year, potentially.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's this year was her year that she first came to North. She's been in the Northeast for a while now, even though she's still young. I do think she's stepped up a game, though. I think she's really... Obviously, she's had a name change as well in that. I think if like I always say about her, though, she gets her head down. She works hard. She works on her style. She works on what she is as a wrestler. I think she's got everything ahead of her.
And she's always wanting to get better.
Yeah.
She's constantly wanting to get better.
She's got the coaches there to do it. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope she keeps on keeping on.
Without a doubt.
Shreddy versus Mao. Is it Mao?
Mao. This,
Mao.
I didn't know what to make of this when it was announced. I was like, okay,
We've got to say,
color me intrigued.
Yeah, we've got to say this one was the. How do I put it? This is the one where I was like, this could go fucking either way.
It was a bit touchy. I think it was the same way that, as Chop said, like the Laura Di Matteo match was a test for Gia. I think this was a test for Shreddy.
Yeah,
because he's been picking up the W's lately as well.
He has been. He might be an absolute bell end, but the guy gets a reaction, which I think is what.
There's a pocket that like him though. Have you noticed that?
That little corner that keep turning up. They're getting the fun bus from Hartlepool to come and cheer.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I think he's paying them to be there.
I think they're friends and family, so he gets discount on them coming in.
Bloody bastard.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get any discount. Let me clarify that.
Full price. You're stealing these tickets. They're $17.95.
So a little bit of insight here. Start the match. We had streamers for the first time to welcome our Japanese.
I have never seen streamers go well at a North East show.
No.
Twice on the two occasions where streamers were planned, it's always with good intention.
Of course.
But unfortunately, it is like a perfect storm when everyone has streamers. There is always one hand who throws them first, and then that's it. Floodgates open. Everybody throws streamers there.
Oh, it's no fruit now.
It's like, oh, do it now. Like, everyone's waiting for someone else. It's a bit like when you throw drinks into the ring.
Do you know who handed those streamers out?
Big Rig.
Do you know who bought those streamers?
Big Rig.
No.
Mao? Big Bow?
Shreddy.
Shreddy bought them.
Those streamers were for Shreddy.
Amazing.
I
mean, I
brought those.
Oh, that is brilliant.
He brought those streamers for himself. We got Big Rig, who's one of our yellow shirts, to go and hand them out with the instruction is that you do not throw these for Mao. You throw these for Shreddy. As we saw what happened, I didn't think that really happened.
Awesome, that.
So I've heard that Shreddy is very pissed off that he spent 20 quid on streamers.
So does that mean for every match he has now in the future, we buy streamers and say, don't fucking throw
I think we just throw the rolled up streamers out.
Or throw them the opposite way.
And did you come back and got them to throw them back in for him?
Yeah, but it didn't really work. It was a brave effort.
I can't, honestly, I think he tried to use it, I think, as mind games against Mao. I think he got right in his own head about that. He was fucking fuming after the show. That match itself, though, there was a couple of weird bits in that.
I fucked up.
Well, yeah. There was basically a Mortal Kombat finish, I think was supposed to be the end of that. Yeah. And I don't think it worked in the way that we wanted it to. But with the magic of editing, it will do.
Fine.
It was fine once you get it on demand. It worked. It
works fine. If you're watching it, it's exactly how it played out.
It's a shame, though, because I think the rest of that match...
The match was great. The moonsault fucking Mario did when he hit the roof, I thought... As soon as I seen him go up and I heard the clunk, I thought, oh, broken neck. Broken neck coming here.
I thought he was just going to fall flat.
Yeah, but thank God he was all right. But yeah, I mean...
I think he was quite a surprise, Mal, though. I think he was... I say a surprise, I just don't think anyone knew a lot about him. Then I'm not saying I hate the term like fuck there's a proper wrestler, but there was, you're like, shit, this guy knows exactly what he's doing, he knows what to do, and it must be difficult for a lad from Hartlepool to, that's a bad Hartlepool impression, but we'll
pretty spot on,
to wrestle a guy from Tokyo. And I honestly thought they put on a fantastic match.
I enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't what I expected. I don't know what I expected it to be, but it certainly wasn't. And top marks again for Shreddy, who once again continues to be a star.
He does. I fucking hate it though.
It pisses you off, doesn't it?
Yeah, I fucking hate it though. And I think that's the best thing about Shreddy now is the reaction he gets is just.
It's on the same sort of like level that Spike is.
Spike and Lando Genry.
Yeah, he got it.
Definitely would. definitely. That is one recommended to watch on Pivot Share. Yeah. So we had a fancy dress competition, and the winner was Benji.
Benji weirdly won the fancy dress competition
again. Fan voted though. Right,
there's some really good costumes in that ring.
There was the Fiend.
There was the Fiend.
I didn't want to get him.
Didn't want to vote for him for his ribbon.
Giving infringement.
What else do we have? We had I can't remember.
Okay, we had Shotzi Blackheart.
Wow,
excellent costume for Shotzi. Devon Dudley in there as well.
And Mankind.
Mankind was amongst it.
Fantastic.
They're the old 80s manager. Who was that again?
Harvey Whippleman.
Brilliant.
Sean Barrett as Harvey Whippleman was solid.
Because me and the ref were doing the judging,
solid.
and I was like, I want that to win, but they were like, no. The crowd was cheering.
The crowd cheered for Benji because it was fucking Benji.
Well, they booed, which meant the loudest reception one.
Yeah.
There was also somebody at the show who didn't want to get in the ring for the fancy dress competition.
Oh, that was brilliant as well.
But she was dressed as pre-Survivor Series Becky Lynch.
Wow.
Complete with bloody nose.
Yes.
But she didn't want to get into the ring.
I walked past her, and I don't know whether she knew I was joking or not. I went, "Are you okay?"
You're thinking shit's just been nudged into it. I'm going for more money. It's going to cost me. Yeah.
What I would say is, to whoever you are, if you'd have got in the ring, you'd have probably won.
She came with the society, and name's Emily.
Emily, you look brilliant.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Because we put someone was talking about it on Twitter, and I mentioned, like, retweeted and was like, "Yeah, this was fucking great." Yeah, but the winner was Benji, and he didn't get his arse out, which is
a relief for everybody involved. I'm sick of seeing gifs of Benji with his arse out.
You are. I have to edit the fucking show.
I know, yeah, but you're the one that went, do you know what? I'm just going to do this edit of zooming in on Benji's arse.
I try to
and
do
now
it.
It's a gif on Giphy.
I don't have the skills enough to like zoom in so far that it just went into darkness.
and then you can just add your own ending there.
Like, and it opens back.
You do the bit from the Hitchhiker's Guide movie where Bill Nighy comes shooting out into the construction area for all the other planets.
It's just going to go as soon as you go delving in, and then it goes black, and then it opens up, and it's the opening scene of 28 Days Later.
It's a Tory party conference.
Right. First match after the intermission was Gene Money!
Gene Money!
You missed your cue on the night as well.
No, I did not.
All that practice.
I did not. It was bang on.
And that would have been 10 times better.
It was bang on.
It was on. It was incredible.
Don't you start doing that ODB
You could tell you had practiced.
Oh, man, I got bloody goosebumps announcing Gene Money.
Yeah.
My good lady Alex's favourite wrestler now.
Well, I think
Gene Money stole the heart of the Northeast.
I think he did, really. I think he did. Immediately went up into people going, he should have the belt. He should be a champion. He should be the face of
But
North.
you know when someone comes out and they go, that's a North guy.
Yeah.
He was one of those that's like, he's going to fit in.
Do you think it was the nipple tape?
I think the nipple tape certainly helped.
Might have been the 5 underpants he had on.
So he was scheduled to face Connor, and Lanny Gentry pulled Connor because last show, when they'd asked for him to have the night, or demanded the night off, I obviously gave him a gauntlet match. This time, that wasn't going to happen. They're very persuasive, these guys. So we thought, fuck it, let's give Satchel Jones another shot, because he got such a fucking good response in NCL.20. Oh my gosh, he got such a good response. I thought it was unfair if we didn't give him another shot. What do you reckon of Satchel Jones?
I'm ready to see more of Satchel Jones in 2020.
Oh, 100%. I would love to see him in there. He's unreal.
I hope the North Universe kind of bends him into something a little bit different to what we've seen of him.
Yeah.
I hope it kind of opens his mind a little bit and kind of turns into that. There's something in him.
Because he's got all the skills in the ring,
unlock.
but it's that also that little bit of persona that's got to...
Yeah. Also, just get it. Where's his weird? Find his weird.
Yeah.
We've all found our weird.
Find his weird. If there was ever a statement for, if you want to get into North, if you want to be a part of it, find your weird.
Yes.
Right?
And it will be embraced and loved.
Don't come in and go, I am Ann Wrestler, I have pants and I do a suplex. No! Find your weird.
I am Ann Wrestler.
I am Ann Wrestler.
And if that includes an air guitar that's not really there...
Well,
I heard it was there.
Of course
I just didn't see it.
Air guitar, mate.
It was a guitar. Chop, you're a DJ.
Yeah.
What you don't understand is that he was playing the power of rock.
Yeah.
What's rock?
Wow. There we go.
I only know house.
That was probably one
You
of
will
my...
not hear a rock song on the agenda. You will never hear a rock song on the agenda.
No, never. And that's why you're not in charge of the playlist.
Damn it.
No, the air guitar bit was excellent when they were fighting over the air guitar.
So I know
Wrestling is the best when it's bollocks.
To the point though, people in the
Really
front row were reacting as if they got hit with like pieces of the fucking air guitar in
Yeah.
the front row. And they were going like that with their hands.
that stuff reminded me of El Fantasma versus Carl Fletcher, which had like 5 minutes of slow-mo in it. Can you remember that match?
That was brilliant.
Oh,
Shades
guy
of
at the
that.
bar ordering a drink in slow motion.
That's my favourite thing about the North fans is that everyone just gets involved and they're like, okay, we know our place.
Yeah.
I do want to thank them actually for something that happened during the quiz that I forgot to mention, and and I don't think I've even said this to either of you two. Might have done at the end of the night. I don't know. But when I got as I was on my way out to the ring, all that prep that we put in for the Funhouse round, like you got your video ready, cool. Then at the end of it, he's coming out. As I was walking to the ring, I went, I haven't actually figured out what the Funhouse round is. Other than what's happening around it. So I was like, balls. So as the opening bit is going on, I'm delivering the quiz, but in the back of my head going, what can I do with the tools that I've got around me?
Holy shit, really?
So the musical chairs bit, completely ad-libbed. So I went, we need people to be chairs. And thank God for the North Faithful, who were like, yeah, we'll be chairs. Brilliant. Anywhere else I might have died on my
From the
arse
pictures, it looks like a scene out of the Human Centipede.
do you know what? Yeah, it created a really lovely visual.
my
So I'm really proud of that. Really proud of
There was
that.
a guy in it who was, I think he's the boyfriend of a girl who's been to loads of our shows before, and it was his first.
It was his
ever
first one, wasn't it? She's been loads.
Wrestling show.
Wow.
She's been loads, yeah. First ever indie wrestling show, and he was a chair.
He was a chair?
Before he'd even seen an indie
Thank
wrestling match.
the fucking Lord that Rampage wasn't one of the fucking superstars. Because he would have sat on him and just fucking broke his back.
Separated pelvis. Thanks, Rampage. Yeah. So back to the G Money and
But
all that.
G Money and Satchel Jones,
Satchel Jones.
yeah, fantastic match. I'd love to see more of G Money, and that's going to definitely be something that I
Please,
try and
please.
work out.
And
Please.
Satchel shone really good in that match as well, because he looked like he had a fantastic match, I thought, there.
Yeah, and I think that goes back again to what North is that North started out as being what I wanted North to be, was all these really crazy talented northeastern and northern based wrestlers were able to connect back into the rest of the world out there, because the Midland scene was already massive. Fight Club Pro had been going for about 5 or 6 years already. Yeah, I'd progressed down in London. You've got the Irish shows. You've got ICW in Scotland. We missed something, and obviously, I know What Culture and Defiant then jumped in just before I did my first show anyway, but what I wanted to do was very much be a showcase for northern wrestlers. There was a article, I don't know whether you saw it, came out on Vulture Hound, which talked about the best northern wrestlers, and I think they all came from Hull or Manchester, and people took offence to that.
Yeah.
Saying it's not the North. I'd argue it probably is the North, but...
It's the North if you live in the South.
Yes, correct.
If you live in the South, yeah, that's the North. We had a whole discussion over the weekend where the North begins.
Yeah.
And regardless of that, it's certainly the main part is the Northeast.
Exactly.
You know, you can't sleep on the Northeast.
And it's one of the things that rankles me sometimes still, is you have got quite a few northeastern-based wrestlers who just don't get the credit that they deserve at all. I think the only one who I would say is really broken through to say is maybe Primate. Rory Coyle definitely winning the Defiant belt, but still, Rampage is based in the Northeast, but he had done a lot of his work beforehand. There's still a real lack of appreciation for Northeast wrestlers, or Northeast wrestlers getting to that mainstream level.
Just to punch them just over the top.
Yeah, and I think I can see why sometimes, because you look at the way that the Midlands guy and the London guys brand themselves, sometimes head and shoulders above what we're doing up here. Rory Coyle, however, has been, I think, one of the ones who really got it on a national level and went, no, this is how you do it. And I hope what we can provide is for people like Gia, people like Satchel, people like Connor, people like Lana Gentry. I'm not going to say HT Drake because and Screwface, because they're big enough on their own anyway, but we can help them too, is to see those guys now going back to the kind of finding you weird, is pulling that out, making themselves huge fucking characters that are universally or globally, or at least nationwide, accepted as fucking, these are just as good as anyone you see on Progress, anyone you see on Attack, anyone that you see on ICW, because they are.
Yeah.
And I
agree.
I hope Satchel Jones is the next one to make that jump.
Just to push on through.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Now, talking of that, though, Screwface versus TK Cooper, there was some fallout with that. Spike Trevay gave TK Cooper kind of like a challenge. If he beat Screwface in this 2 out of 3 falls contest, he could challenge Spike Trevay for the belt. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that didn't happen, and Screwface won. Screwface then flipped it back on Spike, which Spike was not happy about and was not intended. Me and you we all three of us had a quick chat in the back, and went, yeah, fuck it, yes, Screwface is the number one.
It was a natural selection, really,
of
wasn't
course,
it?
yeah. And if Spike's going to be handing out them, it has to be winner or loser in this match rather than just one guy getting the number one contendership. It has to be a match for the number one contendership. So speaking of making step-ups, what do we think about Screwface recently and in this match?
I think he's getting well over now. With our crowd especially, because we weren't sure how the crowd was going to react to Screwface, and then all of a sudden it's just turned into this. He's becoming that Austin type wrestler where because that it's so bad it'd be cool. You know what I mean? And now that you could hear the little smatterings in the past couple of shows, this show just gone, they were going mental for him at the end.
He's not trying to be the good guy or the bad guy.
No,
he's very much just marching to the beat of his own drum, which I think makes a real difference, which is why I think people gravitate to him, because he's just being himself. He's not pandering. Like, he won't come out and slap hands with people. He won't come out and say, this town stinks, rah, rah, rah. He'll just come out and go, I'm going to knock you out, mate. It's just Matthew Gregg calls him, the Black and Decker, I'll fucking knock you.
But if he's in a bad mood, he will
still don't know what that means.
And say, I hate this fucking place, what am I doing here?
Yeah, but he's Screwface.
Yeah, he's Screwface.
You know
That's
what?
who he is.
If the roles were reversed and Cooper was the champion and he called out Spike and they had Spike and TK, Spike and Screwface had that match, you still get Screwface going, all right, TK, I'm coming for your head next dickhead.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it would be and I think that's what why people are drawn to him. Because
so I think if you look at, like,
he's very real.
He is very real. And I think, like, I think when he first started out in North, certainly he was kind of seen as not real. I think he had green mist. He had the big spiky shoulder pads. He had his goggles. He was kind of like this kind of Mad Max kind of steampunky, like, which I liked. I liked it, and I never really saw why people didn't like it. Now you're starting to see Screwface Ahmed, which is the real guy.
Yeah,
and I think since he teamed up with Fraser Thomas and HT Drake at the Progress pre-show, and I think that's when we first saw the gum shield spot where he pulls the gum shield out and he just kicks 7 bells of shit out of multiple people.
Yeah.
The crowd started to warm to him and go, fuck, this is a guy doing what he wants to do. This is a guy who is just being genuine now. He's authentic. And I think people get behind that.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, him and Drake have tagged before. They seem to have kind of created an unholy alliance a few shows back. They're now, to me, it seems they're on very different paths. You've got one guy like HT Drake who's desperate to get wins. Screwface is going, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to plough my way through and demand wins. And in matches like this, where he ended up tapping out TK Cooper, it was, he got a fucking cheer for the first time.
Yeah.
People loved it. People were like, shit, yeah, that's authentic. And that's, for two stalwarts like Screwface and HT Drake, to get into such polar responses from being relatively authentic, both of them, I think it's quite interesting.
But also get that over TK Cooper, who was over as fuck with our crowd, who was, as we call him, the
Daddy of North.
Daddy of North. Like, for him to get that over on top of that as well, I mean, that's big praise. That
it is big praise, because TK Cooper is definitely a breakout star from last year, nominated breakout star in North. Now, he was in the title shot when Spike won his belt. He had a title shot against Spike. He's definitely in there. He's definitely. Oh, sorry, he had a title shot against Rory Coyle, should I say?
TK Cooper feels like he's near the top when we get to the divisional thing.
He's just
very much feels like he's at the top.
He's stuttering a little bit. And I think now is the time for him to put some wins.
But I love how much he's
pocket.
changed, how much he's evolved.
Yeah.
Since he joined North, the first time we saw him, it was just he was like part of Too Hard with Shreddy and Lou, and it was the Dungarees, and it was all of that, and he's we watched him just morph into the next. Evolve. It's like watching a Pokemon evolve, isn't it? He's now
Pokemon. I'm not going to go
bit bigger. Oh, mate.
No.
He's gone from like a Charmander to a Charmeleon.
I've got no clue what the fuck that is.
I thought this match was, and it was always going to be, the sleeper match of the card, and I think it really surpassed expectations, this one. And I'm really interested to see Spike versus Screwface.
Yeah,
that's set up brilliant for that. Yeah.
Considering the card that we've got for the next show, I think that match fits really well. I think it sits nicely on that show. I feel good about having that particular match there.
And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do as well. We've actually got a northeastern guy, a guy from South Shields, Newcastle, challenging for our belt.
And that's the first time this has actually happened.
Yeah.
You realise when you look at it, there is we talk about like this is a showcase for Northeast wrestlers,
Yep.
showcase for Northeast. Very few people from the Northeast challenge for that belt.
Very few. And that's partly me wanting more and partly me putting my standards up and trying to get us to a national level. But it's also partly there being a lack of that. I honestly think, and it's difficult for guys who are seen by the same people week in, week out at different shows in the area to really make a difference. So you'll see Drake in the Northeast an awful lot. You'll see Screwface in the Northeast an awful lot. To then come to North and also be like, you know how we've got Spike Trevay, we've got Mark Haskins, we've got Rampage Brown comes in sometimes.
Yeah.
We've got all these guys who are main event in North shows. Ricky Shane Page, for Christ's sake. What makes them just as good? What makes them stand out? And I think we're starting to see that now. I think we're starting to get to a point, certainly with Screwface, of someone really stepping up to it and going, you know what? Fuck it. I am as good as these guys. And in ring, he definitely is. Just as good, if not better, than most people on the British scene at the minute. He's got a phenomenal mind for wrestling. We now see him stepping up to getting that belt. I'd be over the moon to have that. Over the moon.
Yeah.
No, you knock that laptop off there.
Nah, that's fine.
Anyway, main event time. New Nation versus Landed Gentry. Now, I don't really remember much of the match because at the end of the show, I've got other things to do. People to pay, people to say goodbye to, people to sort, merchandise to sort, venue to sort. I didn't see much of the match.
Alexander Henry stood out to me in this.
Yeah.
Amongst everything else.
I mean, the guy looks stacked to shit.
Jesus Christ.
I'm over the moon to see him back.
He just went away and just got bigger. Like, he carried on fighting. And then it literally just hit the streets, fought, and then came back.
It's as if he got a big boulder of rock and just smashed it off him for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then came back.
That's pretty much what he's done. He looked great in this.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the New Nation in there. I think it's crazy, though, to see someone like the Primate kind of start to sit in the shadow of someone like Alex Henry.
I think it's right. I think this is how the wrestling scene evolves.
Yeah. And I think Primate has his accolades. Primate, NXT UK guy. Primate, big defiant guy. He's been the main guy on the scene for fucking years now. Him and Rory Coyle, I think, and Rampage Brown. But really, as Northeast through and through wrestlers, them two have been last 2 years.
But he can now use that star power that he has built for himself, and he can pass that on to someone like an Alexander Henry, who when Primate, and you know what, the time for Primate to dominate in NXT in the tag division with the Hunt is no doubt around the corner. All you have to do is watch and see. Yeah. So when Primate gets busy doing all that, you've got somebody like an Alexander Henry that easily supplants, boom in that role.
When he left
off the races we go.
When he left wrestling, it wasn't long after that NXT UK started burgeoning, and I just thought, fucking
he's
hell.
missed out there.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's great on the mic as well. And in the ring, he's a proper
you could have
nutcase.
seen, and no disrespect to the Hunt here, but you could have seen the New Nation doing that.
No.
Oh, definitely.
That would have been a tag team that would have got called straight up. Because
well, they've wrestled together. I know the Hunt are a great team. Wild Boar's an amazing wrestler.
Oh yeah,
but that was put together. Whereas New Nation grew together and they wrestled together and they were forged together. So I honestly, from where I started North, seeing them back in the ring together, just fucking great. However, the main part of this was the return of Rory Coyle.
Unreal moment just to watch the place light up as Rory, who was got away and got into better shape. He looks quicker.
Where the hell was he hiding? Because I hadn't seen him all afternoon.
He's walking his dog. Oh, on the show. Fuck. I think he literally. I didn't know he was coming. I think he literally waltzed up and just went, "Fuck this." Walked through the back. Literally walked through the door, walked through the back, and there he was.
Because that shitty song, where's the graphics? Can't find no graphics. Can't find no fucking graphics. Where the fuck?
Surprised everyone. That way. Surprised absolutely.
But it was done perfectly.
Absolutely spot on.
As Rory Coyle's timing is impeccable.
Yeah.
It's always impeccable.
Just lit the whole place up, and it was like he'd never been away.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good.
Because when I think the three were stood on the stage, for his last match. We thought that was the end.
Yeah.
We thought he
It
wasn't.
very much felt
It
like...
felt like a retirement
That's
sort of
it.
like, we all clapped him off. You know what I mean?
Well, he's too old for this shit. He's like about 6 months younger than me. So.
But you could see it in, and he would say this as after, you can see it in the matches that he had. You can watch it back on the pivot shed. Like, each time he walked out for the last month or so, he was just getting more and more worn down by the sword of Damocles that he was carrying over his head.
He came back with that promo and said, "I'm an addict, and wrestling is my..."
I love that line.
Was it wrestling is my heroin or whatever it is? And it's like, you know what? Like, he's fucking dead right. Like, I think that's why most of us. That's why I'm still fucking doing it.
That's why we doing it.
You don't get out your blood. And from what I spoke to him at the show, fuck me, whatever's been going on with that guy, he's got it back. Like, he needs it. He needs wrestling as his catharsis. I know he's got Newt, and Newt's one of the loveliest dogs that you'll ever find. But I tell you what, I can't wait for the 4v4 match between Hard Brexit, Conor Renshaw, Shreddy, and Lalana Gentry, and New Nation, Rory Coyle, and I've honestly no idea who the last guy is. They're not telling me. Not going to let me know. I've got no idea who.
Well, can they tell him to let me know? I need all the fucking graphics.
I need to make the graphic. I don't think we're going to have any graphics for that one. So I don't know. It could be a whole plethora of people. That fourth one.
Try and think of someone, Tom, now.
Okay,
Apart from Baz Bam, which is the obvious
well,
one.
off the top of my head, I was going to say Baz Bad. I think Rory Coyle is the sort of guy that could easily sort of go back to his roots in terms of people that he's worked with, previous places, previous faces that he's travelled around with before. Him and Seshamoth Martina had one hell of a brawl
that's a good
while back.
Seshamoth would be fantastic.
You know, I could see Seshamoth defending the honour of North. She's very much a North person. I know Screwface wasn't busy. I'd have said Screwface because, you know, if you keep up with the scene...
I've got one for you. Rampage.
Rampage would be bloody brilliant.
Rampage and Coyle would be...
you wouldn't fucking step in that.
That is very much the spirit of the North.
I'm going to throw one in there. I know he's injured at the minute, but I'm kind of hoping he might be better. Amir Jordan? I think
What is the latest on him? Have you spoken?
No, I haven't spoken to him for a while now. But I know that with his NXT UK contract, I think they're very, very, very careful over injuries. So, I don't.
Robbie X is a guy that we've not seen in a while.
Robbie versus Cara.
Robbie's already booked, isn't he? Of course he is.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for that match as well.
There's that's it with Rory Coyle. Like, he won't just. He's the sort of guy that probably wouldn't turn to just his friends. He quite happily turn to some of his enemies. And
some people have suggested me.
Really?
Absolutely fucking not.
Get amongst it, mate.
No fucking
get in
way.
There. Chop, get in
can
there,
I borrow
mate.
your shorts? You're trying...
Yeah, of course you can, mate.
I can do an entrance, but that's a bit of
fucking way. That is not happening, by the way. Me is not. I am not. That's been mentioned by about 4 or 5 different people. 100% not. I'm not that guy who's going to get in the ring.
Although I could see you actually chinning Benji, like.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Like it's like the battle. It'd be like another WLC match with them two.
Could you not put him through a table?
I'd love to do that.
I'm gonna get so shit.
The last show, I put you through a table.
One person, I'll tell you that it isn't going to be that Rory Coyle has worked with before. Actually, he's worked with both of them in certain ways.
Is Grapple Clothing, and we want to say thanks to our sponsors.
It's Coop Chicken.
If only, mate.
So now I'm gonna put in an exclusive match announcement for NCL.21.
Exclusive.
So these won't be the fourth member. I've been guaranteed that. So we had previously had Jack Jester versus Conor. Conor Renshaw had been announced for a couple of shows ago. Jack Jester couldn't get down with some logistical issues. So we've got Jack Jester booked in versus returning from Dragon Gate, Martin Kirby.
Get away! Get away!
Yeah.
Kirby's back!
Kirby's back.
That's a genuine surprise to me. I'm delighted.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, Martin Kirby has been a standout in the Northeast. And beyond there, became a household name through WCPW.
He really has since he's been gone, though, hasn't he?
Oh, God.
Oh, we've missed him, mate.
Anybody that gets away with calling my current boss a dickhead is absolutely okay with me. And as you say, like currently tearing the scene up in Dragon Gate, just back from Dragon Gate.
What a perfect fucking match, though, for Martin Kirby, Dragon Gate.
Yeah. Oh God, absolutely. I'm so delighted. That
I know that Martin Kirby would have absolutely adored that whole experience going to Dragon Gate.
We're friends on Facebook, so you can just see how much he loves that entire world.
He is
so
the biggest wrestling fan that I think I've ever. Like, he genuinely is a scholar. He's genuinely just a lovely guy as well.
You were saying before who deserves to make it to bigger places like in WWE.
Martin Kirby.
There's someone who deserves it like so much.
Yeah, very much so. So we are delighted to say he'll be back versus Jack Jester. Two guys that I got a lot of time for. As our 2019 Smasher end of year party. I'm really happy with that. So. That was NCL.21, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps Part 2. I think pretty successful given everything. I think we enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. You will be able to watch it on PivotShare, northwrestling.pivotshare.com for a subscription of $3.99. You can rent it for $4.99.
Nothing. You're taking money out of my pocket!
You can download it for $9.99. Please do it. You got a 2-week free trial, though. When you sign up, get amongst it for just $3. Think what you would buy for $3.99, on a monthly basis. Would it be like a relatively expensive coffee? Yeah, like that's the price of like a pumpkin spice latte. Yeah. For that you can get all the resting that you'd ever need. And from different
someone for Christmas.
Do you know what? What a wonderful gift! If you want to get somebody started, if you want to bring somebody to North next year, why not? Subscribe to that because it's dirt cheap for you and it's a very thoughtful gift.
Over the Christmas, watch it with all your family.
There you go, get the family around, watch.
And if you're skint for Christmas, you get a 2-week free trial. So if you time it, you buy it on Christmas Eve, you don't have to pay for it till January.
There you go. Get amongst it. With commentary by myself and Matthew Gregg all the way through.
All the way through.
It's incidentally, I'm hoping you might drop some of these in when me and Matthew. Do commentary. Yeah, we always leave little messages for Andrew Bowers.
Fucking hell.
Okay. Right.
I'm sure it's nice and real.
1, 2. Okay, Bowers. We're starting at 6 minutes and 1 on the main event. Haskins.
Yeah, we're doing the main event first because this way we have enthusiasm for the product that you have bestowed upon us. And by product, I mean wads of cash.
All that pennies. Thank you, darling.
Oh, all the pennies.
All them pennies. Amazing scenes.
See if he actually listens to it.
Well, I edit the shows together. So normally edit the show first and then send it to Tom and Matthew. They go and do it in post. We've tried to do it live before. We tried to do it live with Amir Jordan one time. The Riverside's too loud.
Riverside's too loud, and selfishly for me personally, logistical nightmare.
Yeah, you did get a little bit stressed that day, didn't you?
I get a little bit sad, a little bit stressed. I don't normally get stressed and a little bit sad.
No,
we want to keep you nice and ready.
Tom is the vibe creator anyway, so that's his one job that he needs to keep on top of. My role
is vibe creator. I think I said to you, I said, look, I can either do. I said, look, I can find you a banging commentator, or I can find you a banging ring announcer. I'm very blessed and lucky to have friends on both sides of that water, and I'm happy to put them forward. I said, look, if you want me to do one or the other, I'll do one or the other. And he said, right, announce, but then do commentary.
Let's make that work.
He said, I want you to announce, but then can you also do commentary?
Yeah,
that's fine.
And that's the best.
I know. Yeah, so we always like to record little messages for you when we start. And,
I might try and drop in a couple on the edit of just what you guys say to me.
Please do.
It's one of my favourite things when I get that little commentary through. It's just at the start. I'll just have Matthew either talking about the show.
Bowers, the autofocus on the camera.
Fucking old Bowers.
The
amount of times I fucking heard that. Ridiculous. Oh, we love you really, Bowers. Thank you for the money.
For Matthew Gregg, for Amir Jordan, my name is Tom Campbell, and we will see you ringside. End scene.
Nice, brilliant.
We actually keep recording for a bit. I'm very sorry for that have a wank comment.
No, leave it in.
Keep it in.
If you don't want to, I'll give him the option of.
Incredible.
Stop shouting, Tom.
Keep it in. Keep it in.
I'll give you one little thing, so then I'll give you the option of, and if so, I'll say, well, it was Andrew Bauer's fault for leaving it in because I gave him alternative at the end, and that's all right. And then won't beat me up.
I think he'll agree. I think he'll agree.
He wanks all the time.
Yeah, well, fuck.
He's like video camera. Don't put that in.
Don't put that one.
Don't put that in.
Also, but for fuck's sake, is he too pricey?
I know a guy that interviewed him and even told him, he goes, by the way, I've seen it. Tell his
Seen
face.
Wait, is there a video of wanking online?
You don't know?
No, do I fuck?
Oh.
I don't, man.
I know this because two.
So we've got a question from Dale Tritchler on Twitter. With AEW announcing their divisional rankings, who is in the top 3 or 5 for each division in North? So I thought we've only really got 2 divisions. We've got our tag division, and we've got the division of everyone else fighting for the North Championship. Which is, I don't like to flap the word intergender onto it, because it's just what it is. We're not intergender, we're always that. So, for me, the North Championship, which is currently held by Spike Trevay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 contender is Screwface Ahmed. Who would you put 2, 3, 4 and 5?
The 4 I've got, and I'll give you a little. I'll go through it with you how I'm going to rank it. HT Drake.
Yep.
Shreddy.
Yep.
Gia Adams.
Mm.
And then I've got to say Will Cruz.
Will Cruz is in there. So I thought you've got other people in there. You got TK Cooper.
Yeah, you've got that. I think he's just outside the top 5 there.
You got Seshamoff Martina.
She
Not in it enough.
not enough.
Probably not. You've got Roxy. But again, she's been absent for a while. I don't know whether that's related to HT Drake or not. Big Connor. Robbie X.
It's so hard, isn't it?
It is very hard. And then, of course, you've got, who everyone keeps reminding me, number 1 contender, Nathan Cruz. He was the number 1 contender. We haven't seen him for a while. Conflicting of schedules.
Well, the question is saying about the divisional rankings, the way they do it as well is on wins and losses.
Yep.
Now, that's the way I've looked at that question. So, for second, that's why I would say HT Drake.
HT Drake.
Third, I would probably go Shreddy.
Mm-hmm.
4th, I would go Will Cruz. And
Wow.
then 5th, Gia Adams making that top 5 because she has proved herself. That's the way I would look at it.
I like it. I like that. Me, personally, it's difficult for me because I can't be... You can hear Tom spraying away for a breeze to take that cat poo smell away.
Okay, executive sorted.
For me, it's difficult to be unbiased, being the booker, and having a kind of oversight on all things North. I'd have to put TK Cooper in that top 5.
Okay.
I'd have to put Connor in that top 5 because I think he's been on an absolute tear. The rest of them, I'm really not sure who. I think Drake's got to go in there. And then I could probably put Will Cruz, Gia Adams, or Shreddy in there for me. So I think for me, Screwface is number 1. I'd say number 2, I would put TK Cooper in there. That's number 2.
Yeah.
I'd put number 3, HT Drake. Number 4, Connor. They're interchangeable. And then another. I can't make a decision.
Plus, there's Primate as well. You're missing off there.
Well, we have got the tag division, and I thought
I know he's gone into that.
my top 1 and 2 for the tag division, as we don't have tag belts, would be Lannon Gentry, and then.
But obviously, you've got to look at the fact that Shreddy actually beat Primate.
This is what I mean.
And he's also beaten now
Very
Mayo.
difficult.
You know what I mean? So
Incidentally, my top 5 in the singles, I'll go Screwface, TK Cooper. I'm going to put Will
even
Cruz.
though he lost to Screwface.
Despite that, I think you're still in the mix.
Okay.
I'm going to put Will Cruz in there again, despite the loss. I think overall performance puts him still in the mix.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you remember if you go up against the big guys, a loss, yes, it might still be a loss, but if you're losing against one of the big guys, you've got to have some credit for getting in there and
being there,
showing your worth anyway.
Yeah, I get that.
Then Conor Renshaw, then Gia Adams. That is my top 5 in the singles division.
I think we've come to quite an agreement on that. I think
Drake is just outside the 5.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, I'm sure he will disagree with me.
He definitely does.
No, I said he should be like second. Just so I'll be on his good side.
Difficult, isn't it?
I mean, the next one is a
tag division's a hard one.
Because I'm looking at teams like Club Tropicana.
Well, exactly. So I kind of omitted from this list here my thoughts. Club Tropicana, they've only been on one show.
Yeah.
We haven't seen ETM yet, even though we've seen Chuck and TK Cooper. They're on the next show against Anti-Fun. Police have to go in there for me.
Yeah.
More Than Hype. They've lost all their matches, though.
Yeah.
You've also got Deadly Sins now on the scene, and you've also got Rock and Cole in there. You've got White Wolf, who might make an appearance back.
Division when you think of it, like
you've got Gia and Boris. Boris isn't at the next show, unfortunately. It was meant to be, as a side note, it was meant to be Boris versus Drake. Boris is going to get some surgery on the 25th, I think, of November.
I wish you well for that, mate.
We do, but hopefully that's going to prolong his career, because his career was very much in doubt, and that might have been his last show at North. So fingers crossed we're going to see more of him.
Hopefully, yeah.
But Boris and Gia would have been somebody I put in there. Anti-Fun Police. What about the outfit? Miles Kamen and Lucas Steele. Do you think will they ever come back into North? Or
I think if Cruz comes back, they might come back with him.
Yeah.
I think the outfit will always have a place in the tag division. I think they made such an impact in such a short amount of time. And as long as they're still active, then they certainly are amongst it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I think Landon Gentry. I think it's New Nation. Who would I put in next? I think I'm going to have to put in Anti-Fun Police.
They've got to be in it. They've only partly because of consistency.
Yeah, and I think also they're such a well-known name.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to see how Chuck and TK do, but I don't see Chuck and TK staying as a tag. I see TK going on to much bigger things. I think they are both so developed as singles guys. Yes, exactly. More Than Hype, no wins, but certainly got the crowd behind them. Certainly got good showings in the bag. I'd like to see more of More Than Hype as well.
They very much feel like part of North.
Yeah,
More Than Hype.
So yeah.
But when you look at that tag team division, though, now we could have a show based on them having a tournament, the tag team tournament alone.
We could. There's a couple of things in the work for 2020. Well, I say in the works, in my mind.
Yeah.
I'd love to have tag belts. That's something I'd love to have a tag division with belts to win, not a stupid fucking plate. I'd also like to do a tournament. I'd also like to have a younger guys tournament to see, who the next kind of up and coming star would be. So if I can get my shit together in 2020, that might be stuff that happens. It might not be. Thank you for your question, Dale. I don't think we answered it outright, but I think we kind of put the right people in the mix there. And if we've forgotten anything, by all means, get on all the social media channels and tell us that we were wrong.
Hashtag Bowers is fucking wrong.
I'm sure they'll tell us if we're wrong. The internet's really good for telling us when we're wrong.
Definitely. Right, we're going to have a little bit look back in time and look back at this time last year. It was NCL.21, I Smash Mirrors and Fuck TV. Matthew Gregg's favourite show name.
What a great show name.
Yeah.
I do enjoy how all your show names are based on songs that you like.
Yeah, so that was an Idols song. That was a lyric in an Idols song. So we had Nathan Cruz versus Rory Coyle. It wasn't for the belt.
Oh, that was some shenanigans at the very start of it,
Shenanigans
wasn't
at the very start, where they kicked the fuck out of Rory Coyle. I can't even remember what happened.
So what happened was Nathan Cruz. So Rory Coyle came out at the very beginning, and said, Nathan, let's have a fight.
Let's do it now.
So Nathan Cruz comes out. They have a fight. They have a match. Then Nathan Cruz is disqualified.
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, I didn't cash in my title shot. Aha! This you challenged me. I didn't challenge you. Therefore, I've not lost my title shot.
And then I don't think we ever saw him again, did we?
And he's still got a title shot somewhere.
Well, that's it. That genuinely with Nathan
Is
Cruz.
there a time limit on that?
I'll get back to you on that. If storyline needs it, yes, let's wait. But no, I think unfortunately with Nathan Cruz, it's just, he works a hell of a lot as well. I know that he works for NGW a hell of a lot. He works on the camps a hell of a lot, which are fantastic. It just hasn't worked out with getting Nathan back. But the door is never closed.
You get that with loads that you just can't seem to get in and back in.
Second match of that night was Isla Dawn versus Shax. We haven't seen Shax in a while.
Oh.
No, Shax has turned up on NXT UK.
Yeah.
Both of them have, actually.
Yeah.
Isla Dawn and Shax have both turned up.
Yes.
Both are doing incredibly nice things at the moment, which is really nice to see.
We had Cara Noir versus Mark Coffey. Cara Noir, that was the last time we saw him in North, a year ago.
That was his first outing at North, wasn't it?
Was.
Yeah.
It was.
What made you book that? Out of interest.
I think we had something else booked. I honestly think we had something else booked for Mark Coffey, and it fell through. So he didn't have an opponent. Cara Noir, I think maybe he was booked against something else. And I thought, yet again, it's like Cara Noir versus an absolute brick shithouse. And it worked really, really fucking well. To the point where Cara Noir got, I think it was probably one of our first, please come back chants from the North Faithful.
Yeah, they fell in love with Cara.
Very much quickly. So. It's a shame that it's taken a year to get him, back here, but he's had what a successful year he's had.
Well, that's it. He's too busy being brilliant everywhere.
Then, after that, we had one of the best matches of that year. I remember this match was fucking phenomenal. It was Gabe Kidd and Robbie X versus Lucas Steele and Miles Kamen. This match was unbelievable.
It was just 4 guys knocking shit out of each other.
It was. I think
they were coming off the high of being on ITV, the World of Sport had just come on this time last year. Is that right?
That's
or a little bit later on?
No, it's around about this time.
Yeah.
Definitely
It
around
was
about
Christmas,
this time.
wasn't it?
It was buzzing
Christmas,
for that, wasn't it? Yeah.
So I think they recorded it by that time, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it came on. I think the pilot was on over Christmas, maybe. But Gabe Kidd was one of those ones where he was like Martin Kirby came through at What Culture, and I never really booked him because I didn't really want to overlap with their big guys, with our big guys. Gabe Kidd's now over in LA at the New Japan Dojo.
Yes, he's. What's his role there?
I think he's training.
Yeah,
He's training.
He's one of the. There's a
Young
phrase
Lions
for it,
or
like a young lion.
something.
Yeah, so basically he's like a corner guy for one of the bigger guys.
Yep.
And you earn your trust
so,
the old
yeah.
school way, and I really like that.
Training in the dojo. I don't know how long he's there for.
I think he's just there until he makes it.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
and absolutely, he is one of those guys who should.
Yeah.
I hadn't
He looks
really.
like an old school wrestler as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like, I don't know, like a Stan Hansen or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember I was told so much to book that guy, and I couldn't because it was not that I couldn't, but I just wanted to differentiate. I wish I had booked Gabe Kidd earlier. Like, lovely guy as well, like genuinely lovely guy. But what a fucking wrestler! Like, what a wrestler! And teaming him up with Robbie X was like. It was just like spending all your Christmas money on on
Just an
20 packs of Pogs.
They are. I think if they come back as a tag team, can we just say your name is 20 packs of pods? Not give them any context.
Does anyone
They're
over
obviously-
30 only know what that
I know. I was going to say those two lads are definitely too young to understand what
Don't
Pogs are.
matter. We get it.
Although Gabe Kidd is young. Gabe Kidd is young, but Gabe Kidd feels like he's probably lived longer than we have. He's an old soul. Certainly in that wrestling ring, he's an old soul. Like. Then we had Primate versus Io Nox. Now, was that the one where Benji came in and Primate double suplex both of them?
Yes.
And gave Benji a concussion.
Very possibly.
To the point where Benji didn't know who I was.
Wow.
That was scary shit.
That's a little bit frightening.
Yeah, he didn't know who he was. Fine. He thought he was with his ex-girlfriend, and he didn't
You do
know.
look very female, like, to be fair.
He didn't think I was his ex-girlfriend. Fucking hell. Wow, come on. But that was a scary moment. Like, we've had a couple of concussions, straight to hospital, made sure he was fine with that. Actually, it was after that we brought in a proper standby medical guy for every show.
He's a lovely guy as well.
Yeah.
Same guy every time. He's lovely.
Stuart, yeah, big shout out to Stuart.
Big
I always
shout
forget
to
in my pre-show meetings to tell everyone about Stuart because he's now part of the furniture.
Yeah.
Stuart came up with a really good idea of making sure that we get a team photo next time of everyone who works on the show and all the
every
roster
show.
in the ring, and let's get a picture of everyone. End of 2019 kind of group class photo.
That's nice.
That was Stuart's idea, and I think we'll definitely do that.
I like that.
Boris Kozlov versus HT Drake was next. I was just saying a chop whilst you were out cleaning up cat shit.
No, I was dealing with a request from the executive producer. Looking at you.
Yeah.
And then stopping the executive producer from climbing into the cleaning cupboard.
She is staring me right out, yeah.
he's starey boy.
He is a scary boy. He's just
Yeah,
making
he's
sure
Called
that,
her a she as well.
That's fine. If he does a slow blink, it means he loves you.
as an executive producer, he's just making sure that we stick to time. I think that's what it is.
And if we don't, not bothered.
No. So we had Boris Kozlov versus HT Drake. Now, weirdly enough, I didn't even realise that. This was the start of Boris in North, I believe. And... at least at the very start. It might not have been
It was
the
near
start.
the start. I'm sure his first match he tagged with HT Drake. Yeah. Because there was a tag match. There was one of the what I call the North Specials, which is a 3-team tag match.
Yep.
And he teamed with Drake. It was after Drake had lost to Chris Ridgway.
Yes.
And so Drake was
Yes,
a
it
bit
was.
peeved. So then teaming up with practical joker drunk Boris Kozlov was
Yeah.
not a good night for him. And that led to these two having a clash.
Yes, it did. Now, this was meant to be booked on this. I've just said it to Chop. This was meant to be actually booked for our show on December the 8th. Re-going over a bit. Boris is now going to... he's getting surgery and hopefully prolonging that career. So that was, another really good match. But I didn't realise how long Boris had been on the scene, really. He's been on the scene since like 2003.
But it feels like only in the last couple of years has he really
jumped out,
found his voice. And
Found his weird.
He found his weird. It's being a Russian that lives in Yorkshire.
Yeah, and the main event this time last year, closing out 2018, was Team Shirt, Anti-Fan Police and Spike versus Too Hard. England's Hardest Men, God rest their soul, and TK Cooper. That's where we had the start of the new Shreddy, who smashed the light tube over Big Lou Nixon, and we've never seen him since.
It's true, yeah. He went and broke two of his limbs and since then as a result of this. At this point, I remember I wasn't ring announcer yet. So we'd done Question North.
You'd done the Halloween show.
I'd covered. And then the following month, Stevie was back, so I was in the crowd for this.
Yep.
And I remember just the feeling of shock from the crowd when Shreddy just kicked.
What was the
Lou
date of
low.
this?
It was in December sometime.
I was away.
Oh, you were away?
I was in Tenerife. For my Jolly Boys Out, that I do every year.
He was at 11 Reef.
Is that gone now?
And I'm thinking, because
You're too old for that now.
Because it was the light tube spot you've just said there, I thought, I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't.
I get bollocked for that because that was literally the last moment of what was a really good year. It was Shreddy turning on Lou Nixon. Let's go out on a real downer.
That's wrestling. That's wrestling sometimes.
I like that.
I think the mistake that Absolute made, and when I finished my DVD, The Triumph and Tragedy of Absolute Wrestling,
You've done one of them.
was the fact that I think every show, the heels left on top. So
Yeah,
the point was
that's
like,
true.
can the goodies win at some point? And
Well,
you're
it's
like,
McMahon
no.
Hogan, isn't it? McMahon used to do that on all the on the television things. So that you would, when they went, you pay a ticket to see the good guys win in attendance, but that wasn't on TV.
Yeah, but the good guys never won in attendance at Absolute.
Yeah. You weren't on TV.
They always got.
You also were not on TV.
You went. You know how.
Hey, we were on the tube, right? We were on the tube.
You know how on TV the bad guys go over, but when the cameras are off, the good guys win.
Yeah.
What if we're not on TV and the bad guys stay one?
You ain't got to tell me. I was the one that used to get smashed up as well, man.
305.
Coming soon to DVD.
I mean, if we can get hold of that, if we can get hold of that library, I'll stick it out.
You're talking Ed, mate. I know what you're talking about, and you were talking Ed.
They didn't let me come and work for them.
Andrew Bowers. The self-destruction of Absolute Wrestling.
Right, Q&A time, and then we'll be going on your way, if that's right. Yeah, it is. Right. Question from @#RefClub on Twitter.
Oh.
Any ref names you'd like to have at North for a match or two?
Mike Yoda.
Aubrey.
The Hebner brothers.
Aubrey Roberts.
Gorgeous, isn't she?
Yeah, she's cracking ref.
Audrey Roberts.
Yeah, she's a good.
Aubrey, isn't it?
I think Audrey Roberts is from Coronation
Yeah,
Street.
Audrey Roberts from Corrie. I said Aubrey. Aubrey just genuinely looks like a force as an official. I've really enjoyed watching Aubrey headlining pretty much every major AEW.
There should be more female wrestlers. There should be more female representation in wrestling across the board. Anyway,
Yes.
we probably don't help in that. I'd love to help more. I'd love to see more female referees. There's a referee in Leicester, Daviki. I might be pronouncing that wrong. She's referee for Wrestling Resurgence and Lucy Openshaw's charity show Fight the Good Fight. I'd love to have her up here to help out. We are, though, really lucky to have been blessed with two of the best up in the Northeast. Senior official John Myers and Rich Swift. John's a stalwart, an absolute must-have for any wrestling show up here. Whenever I see a Northeast wrestling show and John's not on it, I'm like, what the fuck?
What are you doing? What are you playing at?
Is John busy? Is he taking his kids to... I think he took to some mad tractor show or something. He'll catch me on that. Apparently it's a Myers day out where they go
like a fun show, like a fun day
something
out.
like that.
Oh, bless.
Or was it the sheep show or something? I don't know. Anyway. But...
One sheep. Two sheep.
You want to fall over at a sheep show? Jeez.
Gotta say though, John Myers keeps North going.
Yes,
he's
he is
absolutely. He's brought Rich Swift in as well, and he brought him up to speed as well. Now Rich, he's just been added to 7 Rev Pro shows.
Well deserved.
Word of warning, Rich though, don't get body slammed.
What?
We're absolutely delighted for him though.
Yes, good luck,
moving his
mate.
career forward. Just like I was saying before, it's lovely to see people in the Northeast doing well.
Yes, it is.
Even the referees.
I want to see the referees doing especially well.
Yeah.
Just don't
He's
get
worked production for us as well, backstage. He's done a lot of
does.
stuff.
Oh, really?
Helps a lot of backstage.
Yeah, so he does a lot of running, he does a lot of production. Oh, we've got another person from backstage.
Special guest coming in.
Special guest.
Our
guest on
actually,
Indie Wrestling
it is great
Podcast.
news because we might have a brand new runner backstage.
Oh yeah, so the rumor goes.
Hi.
Hello.
Say hi to the North Faithful.
Hello, North Faithful.
Alex Booth, everybody. Hi, honey.
So
We're just doing it. We're finishing
I've
it.
completely crashed your podcast.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We've had the exec producer over there.
Yeah, he's been keeping us.
Piddling in the sink.
He also left us a little treat whilst we were recording, so I had to go
In the sink.
No. In where he's meant to go.
On your pillow.
It's like a hotel. It's like a posh
Not
hotel.
a mint. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be
A
sorry.
minty cat.
I don't know what flavour it is. I've not tried it.
Probably not, that's me.
Chili.
Right, so Scott Bell.
Yeah, so
turned up.
that's for guys that we'd like to bring in as referees. We've had Sean McLaughlin from ICW.
Oh, Sean's good.
Yeah,
fun.
Sean's brilliant.
One of the best in the country.
Yeah.
We recently had Scott Bell, who does NGW and BWR. He did a really good job, I thought, on his first show at North.
He just blended in really well
Yeah,
with Sean.
yeah, and I think, again, with Rich, and who's obviously had John on his side and helping him, Rich really brought him in properly. Rich isn't at our next show, though.
Oh. Is Sean coming in?
No.
Can Sean bring the Mon Ya Cunt Championship from ICW, which is their version of the 24/7 title that Sean has held? The Mon Ya Cunt title.
That's class. Well, we've had. I'd also like someone like James Greenwood. We have had Shea Purser before he went full on wrestling. We've had him as a referee.
We had Shea Fu in his embryotic stage. Shea Fu was a ref.
I'd love to see James Greenwood. Yeah, attack TNT Future Shock. We tried to get him in. We tried to get him in at the last show and got Scott in the end. I didn't know much about Scott, but James is he's another person who's done 400 shows this year, matches this year. Chris Roberts, Chris Sharp, Paz, all excellent referees.
I'm not familiar with Paz.
He's Progress.
Okay.
He's the one who does the 619.
Oh, is that him?
Yes, I
oh,
remember
what a
him.
treat.
Yeah.
What a bloody treat. Oh, that'd be cool.
So there's loads of people there's loads of really good refs.
So that was a question from @hashtag Ref Club.
Hashtag
Is that
Ref
Ref Club trying to get some work?
I don't know. I thought John owned that, so that might actually be
It's John in it looking for a little bit of lip service.
Right,
Well,
so-
you got it, mate.
Pop in the boys pod.
Who are they?
Yeah,
No, I was.
They're the
talking
ones
last
that
show-
take Question of North too seriously.
we all take it too seriously, don't we?
No, mate.
Well, I was talking about the last show and they were saying, "Have we got heat?" I was like, "No. Why would we have heat?"
No, why would we have heat?
You started.
If
a
No, we
podcast
don't really.
saying
We don't
to-
really.
You finished in 2004. They just do the pre-show now.
No, we love them. We love them.
Would you rather face one big show size Mysterio or 5 Mysterio size big shows? I'm going to put in there at your Daft Punk Rex replied with wondering how 5 Mysterio side big shows will do big boots and chokeslams. Good
All
point.
stood up on each other like Jay Adelman.
Oh, with a back on.
Yeah. Can I choose to face one slightly broken Cain Velasquez instead? Because he seems like easy picking right now. 5 Mysterio-sized big shows or one big show-sized Mysterio?
One big show.
Well, surely one
5
big show-sized Mysterio.
It's fucking massive.
Yeah, no, but he won't be able to do Hurricane Ranas
Well,
and
no, if
619.
he's the same as Mysterio, he will be.
Oh, so
Where
it's
if
a...
it's 5 pint-sized Mysterio,
5 pints size Mysterios.
it's nothing.
Easy. They can't even do 619. They won't be able to grip
Exactly.
between the ropes.
yes,
I think they've.
I think it'd be too cumbersome to do anything. I'm going to go with that one. One big show-sized...
What a
Mysterio.
poor fucking question from a poor podcast. No, not really.
Rubbish podcast.
You might see them guys on our pre-show. At the
Oh,
2019.
have we invited them yet?
I've invited them, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
They've already ordered the tux, haven't they?
Yes.
All right.
tuxedos all round for the pre-show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've got a couple more questions. One from Wrestler Benji, at Wrestler Benji on Twitter. Don't know who that is. What type of North will we be looking at if one of Hard Brexit win a number 1 contender shot?
We'll get...
Blue passports?
yeah, we'll all get blue passports.
Passports with bum holes on them?
Definitely leaving if they do.
It'll be one of the... Your picture has to be that of your bum hole.
I kind of want... do you know what? I would like, in a weird way, if Benji or Zio becomes number 1 contender,
Yeah.
I would kind of like, in terms of aesthetically, like a landed gentry run north one time where everybody has to wear suits and there's like a private box and you change the logo to blue. To like a light blue.
God.
You could, do you know what?
Tom,
You get a lot of heat. A lot of heat for that.
Well, I hope you got your answer there, Benji. No, I think with Shreddy and Connor, we've talked about them in the main event picture. We've talked about Landed Gentry being probably the top tag team in North at the minute. I'd be quite interested to see them in a kind of like masochistic way, I'd be really interested to see Zio or Benji with a number one contender shot and then go up against Spike Trevay, one of their ex-partners, who
Intriguing.
absolutely fucked him off.
He did, didn't they? That was about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably about 18 months ago.
Very early
Yeah,
stages
yeah,
of
it was. Yeah.
North, when all that nonsense went down.
We'll go with the last question for tonight. Is NCL20? It's from Colin Barker via email.
Ah, the Ginger Genius.
The Ginger Genius. Oh yeah, he was dressed up the Ginger.
That's because I'm the Ginger Genius.
Is
you, Colin.
Yeah. Is NCL24 expected to be Cannons Fly 3, including the magical scramble match? And do you have any names for the 2020 shows?
Yeah, we made a rod for our own Jane and Freddie here by having let the Cannons Fly sort of become the staple
Possibly.
name. Like, it's basically our Royal Rumble.
Well, yeah, I quite like it, but I quite liked the idea of doing like a Rumble match on the February show, because I quite liked having that spot left open in the scramble match for a wild card through the Rumble. I like the scramble match, I must admit. It's a bit stupid. Anything can happen in it. I think nowadays as well we've got an even bigger field to play with, I think.
Booked right. When it's booked properly.
I made a rod for my own back because I tried to basically undo that first goal.
You were so desperate to redo that.
Oh god!
No, do you know what? It's nice. It's the fact that you are very much as a operator of this company, very much want to go. All right, that was that. Sorry,
that was
lad.
shit.
We'll go again next time. But I think that helps. I think when you come clean with that, when stuff like that happens.
You got it, yeah.
Like at the end of AEW Full Gear, they do the media scrum, and Tony Khan is there.
Yeah.
And Tony Khan is answering a load of questions, and not all about the show that's just happened. A lot of it is like, somebody said to him, "Oh, is it true that they have Monday Night Raw on in the production truck for AEW Full Gear?" So for AEW Dynamite, I said. Or NXT, sorry.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I don't know. I would imagine we do.
Yeah.
To see what they're doing. and they said, oh, was it true there was a fight between Jimmy Havoc and Excalibur?
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, there was a fight. Yeah, they
Fight
just
now.
had a bit of a scuff. But they're cool now. I think it was a draw.
Yeah.
He's very open.
It didn't sound like a draw, though, did it?
No, it sounded like Excalibur battered Jimmy. And I love Jimmy. I hate saying that. I love Jimmy.
Yeah.
And Jimmy had a bit of drink and got a little bit lively.
But this is what we love, don't we? Don't we
We
love
want
the
stories,
gossip?
don't you?
Come on.
And if he had
It's
just
like-
said, and if he had said no, it didn't happen, it's like, oh no.
It's like when it's at the match and you're watching the match and it all kicks off and it's handbags and I'm like, come on!
I want a bit of handbag action.
And wrestling is only handbags. It's all it is.
It's a bunch of oily men with handbags. That is wrestling.
Bum bags.
Bum bags and handbags.
Bum bags at 10 paces.
Oh, can we all wear bum bags?
So have you got any
Oh,
names
that's
then?
the fucking podcast name. The podcast name should have been Bum
Bum
bags
Bags.
at 10 paces.
Bum bags and 10 paces is the next one, I reckon.
So do you have any new names that you've got? That you've always wanted to use but you've never used?
Agadoo.
No, I've absolutely extensively again made a Rod, Jane and Freddie for my own back.
No, it's
By-
a rod for your own Jane and Freddie.
Yep. That's what I said.
You said rod, Jane and Freddie for your own back.
I made a bungle for my own back.
Hey.
I've pretty much used all the lyrics out of all the songs that I like to name shows.
So you have to start using songs you don't like.
So I basically go all taking suggestions from other people.
If Tom asks for Baker Street, say no.
But
That's
that
always
have
like
to
Baker
be
Street.
No, I want a show called Agadoo.
yeah. That is going to be
For
the
using song lyrics. If we're using song title, song lyrics, I want NCL26 Agadoo. NCL20. I want to hear Matthew going, welcome to NCL26. Push pineapple, shake the tree. All gone wrong from here. I think Progress has the ownership of wacky names for shows. We have fun names, like we have relatively gritty names for shows.
Yeah.
I think if we start doing like. What's their show next week? Is it female sex robots will eventually learn to kill?
I think that was their last one, but yeah,
That's the-
yeah. And then they've got like 99 with a flake in it or something like that
99
in
with a-
Sheffield, which is the week after our show. or something.
99 with a flake in it. So they own the
They definitely own the silly shows now. I think
Yeah.
exclusively to piss off Jim Cornette,
pretty much.
which is what basically modern.
Yeah, they
British
called
wrestling
one of
is.
those shows. They called Old Man Yells at Cloud.
That was my favourite show name. Anyway, episode 3, Dunzo. You can find us at northwrestling.co.uk for merch and tickets. NCL22, I Don't Need Your Medicine, is on December the 8th, Sunday, December the 8th, probably starting at 2:30, but you can find us on all these social media channels and we'll double check that. It's at the Riverside in Newcastle, North Wrestling NCL on Facebook and YouTube, North_NCL on Twitter and Instagram, northwrestling.pivotshare.com to subscribe to our on-demand service. If you want to correspond, you want to send me an email, andrew@northwrestling.co.uk. Big thanks to Grapple Clothing and to the North Faithful and to our executive producer, Pablo. Thank you.
You're already leaving the one special present for us during the recording.
We are out of here. Thank you. Bye. Love you.
Like, if you weren't fucking ready now, just wait till Mr. Excitement walks through the door, and that'll be it. So, Andrew, we'll hope you're well. I like the Nobody Pray For Me. I believe Dan Hinkles is using that name for his next wrestling tour. So, what would you like the name of the next wrestling?
Oh, we playing. Oh, excellent! I think it should be.
It's our warm-up exercise.
I think the next show should be NCL.21 Perfect Robin Schultz remix. Because that's something we are hammering at the moment at work. So I think NCL.13, Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yada Polka Dot Bikini. If we didn't do that one last time, I'm getting
We
that
definitely
in
did.
now. Getting that bad boy in now.
I like the remix thing. We should do Ignition, and then the next show will be Ignition remix. Give me that two.
Well, the next show, no, the year after it should be Ignition remix.
Was it a year later it was released, Ignition remix?
No, but we should do it anyway. Just so then Ignition's the same time every year. It becomes North's WrestleMania.
Oh, then the year after that, yeah, yes. And then after, it's Ignition 12-inch single
12-inch
version.
remix. Yeah, that's it. So we just, and then Ignition Junior Vasquez factory dub.